Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading this is your August bonus reading, and this is going to be about the main events that are happening in August in the astrology. We're not obviously going to cover all of the astrology, but we are going to cover 4 of the main things. The first thing we're going to cover is a triple conjunction between Mars, the North Node, and Uranus in Taurus. That will be, it's kind of like already happening at the time of me doing these videos, but it's going to be on the 1st of August. They're all going to be at 18 degrees, basically right on top of each other. So that'll be the first thing that we talk about. And the second thing we're going to talk about is we are going to talk about the full moon in Aquarius on August 11th. And sorry, actually I should have switched, by the way, so you can see what I'm doing here. But that'll be on August 11th, and this will be the full moon that is in Aquarius. And that's going to be this row. In the next row, we are going to talk about, sure, we'll take both, why not? We're going to talk about the Uranus retrograde on August 24th. And in the last row, we are going to talk about the new moon that will be in Virgo on the 27th. And that'll be this last row here. So this is looking good to me so far here, Cancer. I feel like there's a lot of good stuff coming up for you. Even here, you have this card here in the area of the triple conjunction. That's basically on the 1st of August, even though it kind of happened before. Really, it's just all the planets are on top of each other. You have the water spirit says manifesting dreams, and you also have this card. It's one of the month cards that's in the tea leaf oracle, and it just says April on it. So you could be kind of obviously manifesting some dreams at this time. I even think this last card here, this rainbow card, it says never mind. Never mind. Just kidding, Cancer. I thought that was a manifestation card. I lied. It's not. So I do feel that you could be manifesting things. I feel like these are things that you have thought about since April, or you have been thinking about certain things that you want to manifest since April, and this is like something that you have been thinking about since that time frame. I feel like it's talking about last April. You have the 7 of Wands, the King of Wands, and the 7 of Pentacles here. 2 7s, internal fears that don't exist. So whenever I get 2 7s, especially in one column in the reading, to me, it kind of represents internal fears that don't exist. 7 of Wands is a card of conviction. It's a card that says when you know that something is going to be successful, when you believe it all the way down to your bones and even to your marrow inside of your bones, when you believe something that deeply, it will be successful. So I feel like the trick to your manifestations at this time is to believe things on a very deep level. The other thing that I would say, I think the other trick here is King of Wands. I love the King of Wands. King of Wands energy to me kind of represents like entrepreneurial energy, but it's a little bit more than that. He really, really nurtures things that he cares about in his life like a baby. He really, really takes care of the things that he cares about, and because of that, he manifests things very quickly. So he's like the entrepreneur, the builder. He's very enthusiastic, very courageous, hardworking, and brave. These are all things that come up for all 3 water signs, and they're all things that I would be focused on if I were you at this time, Cancer. I feel like all those energies are going to just make you more successful. I don't think this is a person, or I don't even feel it intuitively. I don't feel this is a person for you. I feel like this is more an energy that you are embracing. He also has this lizard here and these salamanders on his cloak. They're both salamanders, really, and salamanders in the tarot, they represent protection from fire. Basically, he is kind of like protected from risk. So I think it's a good time for you to take some risks here. The one thing I would say is with this conjunction that we have going on, I would be as flexible as possible. You probably heard me say it last week. I'm probably going to say it again because I think people need to be reminded. It's a very fixed energy, that Taurus energy. And it's like if we are thinking that things can only work for us one way, we're going to get super frustrated and things aren't going to work out. If we think like, hey, this didn't work, there's probably another way, and we find it, obviously we're going to be successful. Here you go, 7 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles, he's like saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? I would be making, kind of what I'm getting here in your first row, which is very different than the energy I've been getting for everybody else, by the way, is I would be making decisions like quickly. I'm kind of getting that energy of what do they say? Hire slow, fire fast, right? And I kind of get that for you here. And I'm not talking about, like, I'm not saying you're hiring people. I'm just giving you the message I'm getting off of this Seven of Pentacles. If you're making decisions in any area of your life, I would look at, and especially if you're doing something, like if you're putting work into a project, I'd look at it and say, is this activity that I'm doing moving the project forward or not? And if it's not, I would quickly make a change. The Seven of Pentacles is like, is the juice worth the squeeze? And I kind of feel, I said this a couple years ago, right? In 2017, when Saturn went into Capricorn, I was talking all about this, how I think that we all need to get a little bit nerdy, right? And what I mean by that is I feel like we all maybe need to start tracking some things that are happening in our life that, that could be like, look at me, gained a bunch of weight. Why? Because I stopped working out and I wasn't tracking what I was eating, right? So now I have to go backwards and do it all over again, right? Pain in the ass. Same thing in business. It's like in business, I feel like we should be tracking things. We should be saying, are these activities that I'm doing, whatever you do in business or work or career, it's like what ones are working. It's like I see too many people, like I'm a nerd on YouTube, right? People don't even realize like what I do behind the scenes, right? with the YouTube, I'm like tracking the numbers and everything like that, right? I say this because I think it's super, super important to do this at this time. I think it's important if you're like advertising in your business, if you're, creating content, if you're doing whatever, I would be making sure to have like a little nerdy spreadsheet, whatever. I like literally hired my brother to do this for me because I can't look at numbers. I cry when I look at numbers, right? So he does it for me. He's a nerd. I'm a nerd. We're all nerds, right? And what I would say is that by him doing that, it's like I can see what's working. I can see what's not working. Then I can double down on the stuff that works. Seven of Wands, right there. It's like literally saying when you commit to what works, you will be extremely successful. So I'd be doing this in all areas of your life, right? Even in relationships, I would do this, right? I always tell people I would write down everything you want in a person. I don't care if it's 500 things, right? And then I would circle your top 3 things. We're all too picky. There's no way we're going to get all 500 things. And then I would say if you can find a person who has the top 3 things that you want on your list, then you probably found a pretty good person to be with, right? I also have a list of oh-no-nos as well. I like to tell people to do this after a breakup. Write down everything that was wrong with the person. You're not doing this in a toxic way. You're not doing this in a negative way. You're just doing it so that when you think like, oh, I want this person back, you can look at it and you can say, they slept with their socks on. They ate Cheetos and always had Cheeto breath. They whatever, right? It's to remind you like, hey, really, probably not that great, right? So I feel like all those things would be a good idea. Next, in the area of the full moon in Aquarius on August 11th, you look at this. You have this full moon in Virgo. It says you are good enough. Love it. You also, I think it's Marissa Pierce. She always says, you are enough. That's one of my favorite affirmations. I actually did what she said, which is I have it all over the place on sticky notes because every time I look at it, I say, you are enough, right? There you go. So I would be doing that. You also have this weeping willow. It says family sorrow on it. So there could be some sadness going on in family. I don't really feel that. I feel healing here in this part. So I'd say if there has been something that has gone on in your family, I feel like there could be some healing that is going on here. And again, I feel like you need to kind of say like you are enough with this Virgo full moon card that's coming up in the area of the full moon in Aquarius. That's probably confusing. I didn't really think this through, but there you go. In this row, you have the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, and the Star. The Page of Pentacles is like good news coming in for you here. I also kind of feel this is talking about some learning that has gone on in your life. So if you have had any difficult family lessons, I feel at the very least it has taught you quite a bit. I also feel that you're kind of feeling a little bit more enthusiastic. I get this feeling of like spring from your reading. I get more of that. I realize that it's like the end of summer, almost. But I get more of that like springtime, feeling like I'm, popping up, feeling like I'm awake and ready for something new. I feel you feel very refreshed by the time we get to that August 11th, full moon, basically. I feel if you don't feel refreshed, you have the Star card here, I would do the things that you do to pamper yourself, even if you do it in the comfort of your own home. For whatever reason, I feel like that like really taking care of yourself, nurturing type of energy would be a good idea for you with this card. I also feel like this is saying that, she's about to step into this pool. This is a pool of universal consciousness, and she's pouring water out onto the land. It kind of represents many different things. You could dissect the Star card all day long, but what I would say is, for you, I feel like it's saying that by fulfilling yourself, you're providing yourself enough energy to like give to other things in your life. So I would make sure to do that with the star energy at this time. I would also focus, I think focus is really important. I've been saying this since, again, probably 2017, that I feel that like for the rest of our lives, basically, it's super important that we have like some sort of North Star, something that we work towards, something that we use to guide us, something that we want to accomplish or create in our life, maybe, or, it could be anything. Maybe you want to write a book, could be anything, right? So I feel like it's super important that we have that. I feel like how we get there doesn't matter. So we need to be super flexible, like I was saying in the first row, especially the first week of August. But I would say that this energy isn't really going anywhere anytime soon. I feel that people who are kind of like open to new things are going to be, very successful. The way I think about it is that Uranus and Taurus really wants freedom, right? And even though it's a fixed sign, it really wants to be free. So it's like, if you only have one way of doing things, is that freedom? Probably not. So, I would say, have the big goal in mind. If there was ever a time where we could accomplish our wildest dreams, it's right now. Neptune and Pisces. Take your goal, multiply it by 1,000, and maybe you won't get your 1,000x, but you'll get your 100x, right? Something better than what you originally wanted. You also have the Page of Cups here, so I feel like this full moon would be a really good time for you to, again, focus on your dreams. There could also be love coming in for you, so, for those of you that are attracting love into your life, I feel there could be a person coming in. In this middle row, I'll show you in a second, but you also have the Ace of Cups, but like I said, I do feel this is about your imagination. He has this fish in his cup here, and the fish in his cup could be something that he is imagining. It's like something that he is thinking that he wants in his life. Could be anything, a goal, wish, dream, love, whatever. And so I feel it would be a good time for you to focus on that. Again, in this middle row here, you have the King of Wands, Page of Cups, Fool, Ace of Cups. Definitely could be love coming in for you at this time, if you want it here, Cancer. So I do like to see that for you. Next in the, this is for the Uranus retrograde that is going to be on the 24th. You have the Tiger Spirit and this Tarantula. The Tiger is kind of about moon phases and things like that. So it's funny that we're covering both moons here. In this deck, the Tiger represents feminine energy, but for whatever reason, it's popping into my head as the moon. So I'd be paying attention to the moon. Like, I feel like around the times of the moon, the 11th and the 27th, which we're going to talk about in just a minute, that you could be noticing like heightened energy, and I would take advantage of that, like manifestation, any moon rituals that you want to do, any of those things I feel would be very beneficial. The Tarantula is kind of like most spider cards about weaving your own, kind of creating your own destiny, using your words to create what you want. Some of you could be even getting into writing, I'm getting here with the Tarantula. So, excuse me. I do feel any of those activities would be a good idea for you with this card. I'm also going to show you over here, you have this March card, and I feel like by the time we get to March next year, there's going to be a lot of changes that you have gone through. I also feel like it's saying that this kind of like spring period is going to last from now until March for you. So I feel like you have like it's kind of like, I don't know how to describe like what I'm getting, really, if I'm being honest with you, but, I feel this energy of freshness, of being able to like sow seeds, plant things, plant your ideas. I feel this energy of kind of being a little bit more comfortable. Again, are things going to be perfect? No, I like to remind people that things are never perfect, right? We don't live in a movie. Well, actually, I mean, I don't know. Don't get me started on that one. But what I would say is that we don't live in a movie maybe for the most part, who knows? And I feel that this is saying that like from now until next March, it's going to be like a very much a springtime energy for you, very fresh. I feel like very creative. I feel like these very, very much these kind of like baby ideas. I see like a bunch of baby animals in my head right now. And that King of Wands, like I said, I would be taking care of these baby ideas. I would be nurturing them, feeding them, taking care of them, doing all those things, right? In this row, you have the Three of Cups, the Fool, and the Emperor. The Three of Cups is a card of celebrations. And again, if you have had any issues or problems with family members, I do feel that these things are, this could be like a reunion. So I do feel there could be a lot of healing during that time, around the Uranus retrograde time, which is the 24th of the month again. And I feel there could be like a celebration, or there could be like a coming back together around that time of year. I'm also getting something about Arizona popping into my head here. I don't know, maybe you're going to Arizona in March, or you're planning on going to Arizona. Something, it popped into my head. I have to say it. I don't know. I feel like you'll have a great time if you go at that time. I'm also the color white is really standing out to me here as well. So that could mean like a million different things, but maybe we'll clarify that in just a minute and get some more detail. But mostly a celebration. Next, you have the Fool card. I do feel that the Fool is attached to this King of Wands, Page of Cups, Ace of Cups. The Fool has this dog that you can see right above my finger here, right here. The dog is nipping at his heels. It can mean a lot of different things, but the dogs in the tarot represent kind of companionship. They represent a person who could be a good companion, or someone who could be really good for you. So if you're attracting love into your life, I feel like you could be attracting a person who's like a really solid person, really like a companion. I do also feel that this is saying like it's time to take a leap of faith towards something. The Fool, like, he has everything he needs. And it's kind of funny because if you have Pisces in your chart, I would definitely go watch that reading. This reading is somewhat similar in the sense that, kind of like Pisces, I feel like the second half of the year, this half, that basically what we're in right now, is going to be improving for you. And I also feel like it's saying it doesn't matter like what's going on in the astrology. I feel like you're over prepared, really. He has this sack on his back, and that little sack kind of represents the fact that he has everything he needs for the long ass journey that he is about to go on, Cancer. He is about to go on a very long journey. He is about to go from the Fool to the World card. He makes it all the way through the major arcana, and then he starts all over again. But all he needs is that tiny little sack. It says that you have everything you need right here, right between your 2 ears. So I feel like now, if you're like thinking, oh, I want to start this project, but I'm like worried about, I'm worried about Uranus retrograde. I'm worried about Jupiter being retrograde. I'm worried about Mercury is going to be retrograde in September. If you're like worrying about those things, then I would like get out of your head, because I feel like this is saying, no, like retrogrades apply to things that are like brand spanking new, right? That you've never thought of before. If you've been preparing for something, a retrograde is a perfectly acceptable time to do something, to make a change, to start something, especially if you've been preparing for it for a long time before. So, excuse me, I see a lot of action here. You also have the Emperor here, and the Emperor kind of just says, like, have a plan. I would be, it's kind of confusing, I know, but I would be careful of having, like, super strict plans right now. But I do feel it's a good idea to have a plan of what you're going to be doing. Again, your plan could just be this star card that's right next to the Emperor that was in your last row, and so that could just be you having a plan to accomplish some sort of big goal this month, or something that maybe it's a bigger goal that's going to take you more than a month, but as long as you're working towards it, I feel like that's a good idea. Here's the thing, is like I would have a plan, but I would be flexible with that plan. I like to remind people, I said it in a video, like actually the other day, someone sent me these like brain teaser things. One of the brain teasers was literally like, set a timer for 10 minutes, right? And you have something that you want to accomplish, like a certain project, or maybe a certain piece of a project, or part of your business, or something in a relationship. And it was like, set a timer for 10 minutes and come up with 10 ideas on how you can do that thing, in a different way, right? 10 different ideas. And you really have to think, right? 10 minutes sounds like a long time, but it's not. And these ideas don't have to be good, by the way, Cancer. That's the whole point of the exercise, is that you're training your brain to just get the ideas out. And that's kind of like what I get here. It's like, maybe you have the plan to accomplish certain milestones this month, but, excuse me, and that can be the plan. But again, I would just say how you get there doesn't really matter, right? As long as you're successful. So, that's what I'll say there. Next, you have this Fork in the Road card. This is coming up in the area of the new moon in Virgo on the 27th. The Fork in the Road obviously is saying you have a fork in the road. This card in particular always reminds me to pick the new path, to go in the new direction. So I definitely feel picking the new path would be a good idea. Funny enough, I'm almost 100% sure that tarantula card that you just had is also a card of being at a crossroads in that deck. That is I always forget the name of that deck, the Spirit Animal, the Wild Unknown Spirit Animal deck, whatever it is. So I always forget. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it is a card of being at a crossroads. So clearly at a crossroads, You have this rainbow. It says the most difficult part of the situation is over. I love that. So major improvements coming in for you, and I feel like you've kind of gone through the worst of it. We do see that here. You have the Six of Swords, which is moving on to calmer shores. It says you've been in choppy waters. You have the Ace of Cups, which is happiness, and the Eight of Swords, still maybe not realizing that you've been set free. So the Six of Swords is about moving on to calmer shores. You can see that these people are still in choppy waters, but they're being guided by this guide right here. This guy, the ferryman in the back of the boat, he can kind of represent like a guide, a mentor, a person who goes back and forth between the choppy waters. So it says like a couple of things. It says that if you're having problems, that there could be people who want to help you. There could be people who can assist you, who can make you more successful, right? That's one option. It can also just say that you're kind of like, getting over the worst of it. The other thing that's interesting to me is that on that Page of Pentacles, I was saying how I feel like you've learned a lot from some challenges. Six of Swords would kind of represent learning a lot from some challenges that you've been through, but definitely some improvements because I feel like the most difficult part is over. You have the Ace of Cups here, your emotions overflowing, finding a lot of happiness. It's kind of interesting. Normally I say that, it's like one of those things. People always ask me, like, if they move, will they be happier? And I'm always like, well, no. It's like, if you think that, doing something is going to be the thing that makes you happy, it probably isn't going to. Like, take it from someone who moves all the time, right? I've moved, how many times have I moved since the start of this channel? A bunch, right? Number one, I'm a nomad. I just love moving. But what I would say, as someone who's done it, I can tell you that it's like if you think a location is going to change things, it probably not. Having said that, for you, at this time, I would say that it will. I feel like if you're like thinking about moving, changing jobs because you're not happy where you are, whatever, I would say that yes, I do feel like making the change, whatever the change is, doesn't matter. I do feel it will literally kind of like improve your happiness. So maybe you're just in a not so great situation right now, and this whole thing is like saying the difficult situation is over. So I do feel you will find more fulfillment if you're making a change. You do have the Eight of Swords here. Again, Eight of Swords is about being too close to a problem. Eight of Swords can also represent only seeing one way of doing things. And again, I know it's annoying. I apologize, but also I don't because, again, I'm not going to lie to people. This is the energy we're dealing with. It's like if you only see one way of doing things, you're going to have a hard time right now. If you're able to see other solutions to problems, but not even problems, it's like you could be very successful in business and work, career, or your relationship, and there could still be things that you could be doing to improve it even more, make it even better, right? I'm all about that. So what I would say here is if you can look for those things, I feel like you're going to find a lot of success. We're just going to clarify. We're not going to clarify the whole entire reading. We're just going to clarify some of this and like one card each and see what's going on here. In your first row about manifestation, I do want to clarify. Actually, I'm going to clarify two cards. I want to clarify the Seven of Wands here. And you have the Three of Pentacles. Teamwork makes a dream work, obviously. So there you go. It's kind of funny because it's like I feel like this is you working on this. Three of Pentacles is a card of quality work, but you can see there's this fire triangle up here and actually a water triangle right here. And that water triangle can kind of represent the icing on the cake. It can kind of represent just a little bit extra, getting a little bit more out of something. And I kind of feel that for you, where if you're like trying to manifest something great, I kind of feel you could be even greater, right? You could manifest something like much more successful, but maybe with the help of other people. The Three of Pentacles is also a card of having fun. You can see that she has these polka dots on her cloak, and polka dots in tarot represent needing to have more fun, needing to enjoy yourself more. I feel a lot of us need that, and I do feel the astrology is kind of calling for that because, we've been in a not so fun time over the past few years, right? So I feel like we need to have more fun. But again, I feel like I would try to take something to I would try to, exceed your own expectations on like a project, a business, or anything you're working on. And again, this could be with the help of other people, because if you do that, I feel like you're going to be really, really pleased. With the with the Seven of Pentacles, I wanted to clarify it. You have the Seven of Pentacles, basically the universe saying, hey, Chris, you don't need to know anymore. Shut up. Move on with the reading. That's enough. So there you go. In the next row here, with the full moon, that's going to be in Aquarius on August 11th. I do want to get more details on this star card here. With the star card, you have the death card, so transformation. Definitely going through a transformation at this time. And I would also say I would open up to new ideas. You see right here there's this little child that is holding a flower up to the Death Rider. It kind of represents the fact that children are curious, they're not afraid of change, they're excited by new opportunities and like all those other things. And it's interesting that you basically have two children here. Page of Pentacles, Page of Cups. So I would try to embrace that childlike energy of, being excited by new opportunities. And I would be looking for those things as well. Kind of reminds me of accidents. It's like there's so many accidents that have turned into amazing things. Like chocolate chip cookies were an accident. Super glue was an accident. There are like a bunch of inventions that we all use every single day, and there are a bunch of things we enjoy that were accidents, right? Happy little accidents, like Bob Ross. And so I feel like there could be like a little bit of a Bob Ross moment happening for you if you allow it. The next row here for the Uranus retrograde on the 24th, I want to clarify the Three of Cups, and you have the Wheel of Fortune. It was not in reverse. The Wheel of Fortune is your fortunes changing, things turning in your favor. So I definitely remember what I said, that there could be some sort of reunion. Wheel of Fortune can be something returning to your life. So this could be like people returning to your life, friends, family, situations, whatever. But I feel like there could be a lot of good stuff coming back in for you. I do want to clarify this Emperor as well. Love it. You have the Ace of Pentacles. Literally what I was saying with the King of Wands as well is that the Ace of Pentacles, you can see that there's a garden in the front here. And gardens, when you think about it, we have to take really good care of our gardens so that they grow. So I feel there could be like a major opportunity coming in for you, or this could be something that you're already focused on with the Star card. And it's like if you take care of it, you're going to be successful. There's some mountains right here under this archway, and the mountains kind of represent achievements and success in the tarot. So I feel like there could be success coming in for you. In your last row, I do want to clarify this Eight of Swords. You have the Hierophant, learning. I said this on the Six of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. Learning, looking at challenges and learning experiences. It's like you've moved past them. But I would try to get some gold out of something. It's like, I don't remember who told me this. It was probably from something I watched on YouTube like a long ass time ago, but I remember, I don't know if I watched it or if someone said it to me, but basically someone said something to me about the fact that like if you go through something painful, it's like usually there's some sort of reward there. So it's like look at the painful situation so you can get the gold out of it. That was basically, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember years ago hearing this from someone, and it was kind of like, basically every difficult situation, Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, he says at the end of pain is success. Same thing. It's like, every challenging situation that I've ever been in now since that time, I look at it and I say like, what can I get from this? I'm not like, the universe needs to pay me for that pain, right? Is the way that I look at it. And so it could be a lesson I learned. If I look at the situation, I can say, hey, how can I change this in the future, right? If there's like a failure or something like that. So I always try to like look at those things and say, what did I learn from this, or what can I get out of it? And that's what I'd be doing here. With that Six of Swords, you have the Six of Pentacles. Also want to clarify that. Love it. Two sixes. Love it. Two sixes to me is confirmation. I love two sixes. To me, it just says you're on the right path. You're going in the right direction. So this looks like pretty good to me here, Cancer. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your Sun, Moon, and Rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your month.